This week's Parsha is Parshat Trumah. Parshat Trumah contains a detailed description of the building of the Mishkan, and the Torah, which elsewhere is known for its brevity, goes into painstaking details about the dimensions of the Mishkan and its vessels. For example, at the beginning of the Parsha, 14 whole psukim are spent describing just the curtain's measurements and how and where they should attach to each other. This seems like it's more than a little bit excessive. What happened to the principle of ein milah miyuteret b'Torah? Why are all these measurements immortalized, especially when you consider the fact that the Mishkan was only ever a temporary structure, never to be rebuilt? What are we meant to learn from its exact dimensions? The Mishkan was the resting place for God's Shekhinah. But if we believe that God can't be contained in space, then even more so, why are the Mishkan's dimensions so specifically detailed? What makes them so important? Shlomo HaMelech, when he built the first Beit HaMikdash, brings up this very question. In Melachim Aleph, Parak Chet, Pasuk Chav Zayin, he asks, "But how will God really dwell on earth? The heavens, even the highest heaven, cannot contain you. How much less this temple that I've built?" So no physical space is large enough to contain God. And then, if that's the case, why are we obsessively emphasizing the exactness of these numbers? Nechama Leibowitz points out that the terminology for the construction of the Mishkan is strikingly similar to the terminology for the creation of the world. For example, the words vaya'as and asa are used throughout the building of the Mishkan, and so too for the creation of the world. And further, the psukim for the completion of the Mishkan and for the completion of the world are almost identical. What's the meaning of this parallel, and how does it relate back to the precision of the Mishkan's measurements? The answer I would like to suggest is that numbers and measurements were crucial in the creation of the world. God's universe is mathematically precise. A few misplaced letters in the human genome's 3.1 billion letters can have catastrophic consequences. Had the force of gravity been slightly lower or slightly higher, the universe would have imploded or expanded, and no stars could have been created. We wouldn't be here. Our building of the Mishkan, with its exact numbers and measurements, is meant to teach us something. We're meant to mirror God's creation of the world. We're creating with the Mishkan in space what God created in time when he created the world, and specifically when he created Shabbat, which is the climax of the account of creation. The Torah is teaching us in Parshat Trumah that order and precision matter. Rish Lakish is quoted in the Talmud saying that Hashem told Israel, "If you accept the Torah, all will be well and good, and if you don't, the entire world will turn back to tohu vavohu." Our job is to establish and abide by law and order in order to prevent chaos. The Mishkan is our way of bringing spirituality into the world, but it's rooted in these exact numbers and these precise measurements to teach us that we need stability and order too, in order for the world to prosper and function properly. Shabbat Shalom.